Welcome all tuning in to spend the next 2 hours with us as we continue our pilgrimage on the road to Eleusis. My name is Dusty Dion. I'm the theatrical director of the Spring Mysteries Festival and the host of tonight's panel. It is an absolute honor. The mysteries approach, and every soul around the world is feeling the call of the great Mother Demeter as they come to witness and participate in her sacred rites. You can register and learn more at springmysteries.com. So tonight's brings us panel discussions with the Temple of Aphrodite, the daughter of Cyprus herself, goddess of love, and with the House of Baubo, the acorn fool, and the sacred one who finds Demeter by the well. Oh, also ancestral deity of laughter and mirth, of course. So share your questions and thoughts inside of the chat. And along the way, we will be mining the comment section for questions to ask our wonderful, wonderful temple hosts here. So we'll begin with the Temple of Aphrodite, but stay tuned for the House of Baubo at 7 o'clock Pacific time, 10 o'clock Eastern. So first, let's welcome the Temple of Aphrodite. I am happy to introduce the votary of the Temple of Aphrodite, Lady Belladonna Laveau. Lady Belladonna Laveau, would you please introduce yourself and the other members of your temple?
I would be happy to. Just as soon as we get all our sound worked out. So it is such an honor to be the votary of the Temple of Aphrodite. Aphrodite is one of my patrons, and I have long worshipped her and her mysteries. This year's vessel, I'm proud to say, is Eleusis. Eleusis has been a beautiful vessel for our golden goddess, and I have loved working with her. We also have Anna, who was the previous vessel, and Anna was breathtaking as the rest of them. And then Minty, whom I dreamed about. And then, of course, the incomparable Brenna Grace. Thank you, ladies, for all being such amazing vessels of the goddess and now votives to enjoy her mysteries and share and to carry the wisdom forward so that we can embrace the new vessel each year. We've had so much fun with Eleusis. We haven't had our shopping excursion, but we did get to go to a birthday party and share the love, didn't we, dear? Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So, do we have any questions? No, not yet. Okay, well, then let me just say that the thing that I love most about Aphrodite is that when I was the vessel of Aphrodite, I could not pass a flower without buying it. Like I couldn't go in the grocery store, I couldn't go to Pike's Market. If I passed flowers for sale, I had to buy some. And so since then, every year I buy flowers for Aphrodite whenever I get a chance to see her. So that was one of the things. The question is, when working with Aphrodite, what surprised me the most about her? Yeah, it was the flowers. I did not expect it to be such a big deal. And because I always considered the Kore the flower goddess, you know, and I thought that Aphrodite would be more into, I don't know, chasing partners and stuff like that, but it's very much about adoring the body and adorning the body and perfecting the body, making it the most beautiful that it can be. So I was expecting the focus to be on others, but the focus was on her and me subsequently. So I'll pass that on to other people to share.
The most surprising thing, I guess the most surprising thing for me was, so Aphrodite actually talks to me. Like, she has real sentences and real words in your head. And other deities, you know, I just get kind of like a feeling. Like, you know, Athena was very like just kind of present, and I could just feel what she was thinking and wanting me to do. Whereas Aphrodite was literally in my head going, hey, we should go to the makeup aisle. Have you been to the makeup aisle yet? There's some really cute pink stuff. Oh my God. Wait, no, I want that. Stop. Go back. So that was the most surprising thing for me, was literally being able to hear Aphrodite in my head all the time.
Well, when experiencing Aphrodite as a vessel now, I'm learning that she's very strong-willed, where if I say the slightest negative thing about like my body or how I perceive myself, immediately she'll swoop in like she's an ant, and she'll get me. Like, did you seriously just say that about yourself? Do you know what I do to gals that say stuff like that? You're gonna look at yourself in the mirror right now, and you're going to like it. And a lot of our conversations are in the shower.
What surprised me most about Aphrodite was actually two things. The first thing she told me ever was that I have made all humans in my image, and that's where the Christians got the concept of humans being made in God's image. They're made in my image, and all of you have my beauty inside you. Which makes perfect sense, but it shocked me at the time. The other thing that surprised me was figuring out that Aphrodite is in fact a war goddess, and that is why she and Ares are like so high chemistry. She really likes to be part of the battle and on the field.
Oh boy, what surprised me most about Aphrodite? Would you like an alphabetized list or a numerical one? Because that gets that's a little in depth there. I think the thing that surprised me the most is that, particularly within the Eleusinian priesthood here, she has like a roster of who she's picking out years in advance, and you might not know immediately, but everybody else will know around you, and you'll just kind of have an inkling of, oh, hey, this rose thing. Ooh, this rose face cream. Ooh, I want to have this rose flavored candy. And then all of a sudden, like, okay, so guess what? You're going to be holding Aphrodite this year. What? As you're standing upon this dragon horde of rose stuff. Also, the amount of free stuff that Aphrodite gets you. Because people suddenly get attracted to her energy, and all of a sudden, oh, hey, free chocolate. Oh, hey, you're giving me this lovely gift. Thank you. She wants you to just say thank you. Just take the compliment and say thank you.
Okay, so what does Aphrodite want us to do daily to worship her? Oh, well, she wants flowers, and she wants you to take care of yourself. She wants you to shower and groom. Your physical body is her temple. That your physical body is her temple. So by making your appearance a work of art and working on yourself, all of those things, doing your hair, people are like, people love you whether you have makeup on or not. Yeah, that's true, but Aphrodite wants you to enhance your beauty, however that is to you. You know, she wants you to rub lotions on yourself and perfume and drip with jewelry and all those kinds of things. That is what you can do daily to worship her. I have a statue of her in my bathroom, and that is her temple to some degree. I really thought it'd be the bedroom. But I always end up going over to witches' houses, and they've got Aphrodite statues in their bathrooms too. And I'm like, okay, so this is just a thing this is just a thing. You go to fancy like hotels and stuff, and they've got statues of Aphrodite in their bathroom. That's where she is at home, because that's where the grooming happens. Ladies?
Well, I think Bella kind of hit the nail on the head there, where she is all about self-care, self-love, self-grooming. Yeah, she's all about bonka bonka. But at the same time, though, it's like, that's all well and good, but you got to love yourself. At the very least, like yourself. At the very least, be friends with yourself. Like, I remember when I was ministering as Aphrodite, many times she would say, love at first sight is a very rare thing. My son may be the best shot on Olympus, but love at first sight is still a rare thing. You have to get to know yourself. You have to be friends with yourself. And so that was a huge thing about what her message was. And it's not about like you can't love somebody else if you don't love yourself. You can always love other people when you're not really liking yourself very much, but you have to get along with who you are as a person. And you have to make sure that you're treating yourself the way you want to treat others. And she is very adamant about that.
To jump off of what Minty said, when I held Aphrodite, one of the big messages she gave people were, you cannot truly know how beautiful you are unless you look at yourself through the eyes of someone who loves you. And because we do not see ourselves as someone who is perfect and someone who is absolutely beautiful. We look at ourselves and think, oh my God, look at that zit on here. Look at this scratch over here. Look at this weight over here. And, you know, I look at my fiance every day and I say, wow, he is absolutely gorgeous and perfect. And I love him. And oh my God. And that is how other people feel about you. And that's how Aphrodite feels about you too. And loving yourself. Aphrodite's a cat. She sits there and she grooms all day, and she lays and rests and then has a little bit of fun and then cleans herself again. And it's that cat energy of self-love, truly loving who you are and making yourself the best person you could be. So yes, that is how she wants you to worship her, is worshiping yourself. Worshiping yourself is worshiping her.
Also jumping off of that, I have been working with the vision of sacred selfishness, because one thing that I struggle with is, how do others perceive me? Am I doing the right thing? Do I look good enough? You know, all that anxiety stuff. But with working with Aphrodite, it's been more of, I need to take time for me. I need to have a stronger boundary. I need to take care of myself, because who will? And that really hit home for me. So I've been really enjoying picking out a slot of each day. This is my time. This is just for me. No one has to go over my boundary on this time. And I have to respect that.
I will conclude this question by saying that Aphrodite also wants you to dump your toxic partner. Being in a toxic relationship with someone who may think that they love you, but in fact does not love you because they don't treat you like they love you, is really, it's harmful to you and it's harmful to her mysteries. So kick them to the curb. You deserve to be treated like the goddess that you are. And if they don't do that, they don't deserve you.
Excellent, ladies. Okay, so Lola wants to know, with working with Aphrodite, bringing up insecurities in your appearance, and if so, did it help you work through those? Yes. For me, it did. I did not feel pretty enough to be Aphrodite. And I remember sitting backstage, I had a fan because I was sweating. I had one of those, you know, like this kind of a fan. And I was going, oh my God, I just wish I was prettier. Oh my God, I just wish I was prettier. Oh my God. And I looked up and the Zeus and Ares and Poseidon, and there was one other, maybe Pan, were all staring at me like I was insane. And I went, okay, so I'm being crazy. Okay. She is a little bit neurotic about perfecting the vessel, but what I have learned about that is that what she's doing is it's less about you're not good enough and more about this is the detail that would make you look even better. This is the detail over here. This is the detail over here. It's like when you have, when you're buying a new piece of clothing. Here, baby. When you're buying a new piece of clothing and you don't notice the details. You got a Walmart t-shirt and you got a t-shirt from Nordstrom. It's the little details that make it more expensive. And so she's just trying to add that value to you. And if you take it as criticism, then it's not so good. You know, it's like when your mom is not necessarily criticizing you. She's trying to perfect you. But sometimes it feels like criticism. So you just have to take it to a positive place. Ladies?
We have a saying in the Aphrodite temple, and that saying is cry time now, or cry time not now. Every Aphrodite before me and after me and into the future forever will have a moment that is called cry time now. Before festival, when we were in person, every Aphrodite that I knew had a moment right before we went on any one of the mysteries and the parts that she would be like, ah! And usually we don't know what it is. We're just crying, or it's like my hair. This is my cry time moment was when I had on this beautiful white sari. And I looked gorgeous. And then they wanted to put on a microphone on me because I'm quiet. And that meant the microphone was gonna, like, they had little like black boxes that were supposed to be like on the front so the sound goes out toward the people. But I was like, it's gonna make my outfit look terrible and I'm gonna look ugly and I can't have this. Luckily, my Hephaestus that year, Liz Davis, was like, I got you, and fixed it for me and made me look beautiful. But oh my God, I was like, this is gonna ruin everything. So yeah, Bella's right. It's those little things that she goes.
So I was a bit of an anomaly. Brenna referred to me as the curse breaker because the entire time during mysteries, I did not have my cry time now. That's actually how the phrase originated because I was standing there, fully garbed up, going, I should be crying right now. This is usually when the Aphrodite cries. Cry time now? No, not cry time. Cry time now? Oh, go on stage time? Okay. Oh, torture Bella backstage time? Okay. No, my cry time
Yeah, that's
happened...
because you were backstage torturing me.
No, the only time we came close to cry time was when it was raining and Eros and Ares were shielding me from the rain. And Aphrodite's like, okay, we do cry time. No, Aphrodite, we get pissed now. So that was fun. As far as my appearance went, maybe it's conceited of me to say, but I look good. And I know it. Like, I remember Bella saying, it's like, you already know you look good. You already are confident. That's why I want you up there. And I'll go put that red dress on. And I'm just like, okay, get naked. Like, I would have made it a striptease if I could have done it. But so yeah, that's my thoughts. Anna.
Well, so my Aphrodite really wanted to have a stripper pole in her shrine. And my boyfriend at the time was ready to make it happen. But instead we ended up online, and I'll probably talk a little bit more about what that was like later. But I will say this about appearance wise, she was very critical and nitpicky about things that could be fixed within 10 minutes. Like, okay, you gotta fix your makeup, your skin's looking a little weird, you need a new shirt, you gotta straighten your hair. But things that couldn't be fixed in 10 minutes, like my weight, my body type, like wrinkles under my eyes, things like that. She was less critical about that. In fact, she was pretty much dead silent about my body type. She really was encouraging me to love my body and love myself. It was the things that could be changed she wanted changed. Bella and Minty and Brenna all touched on this, that she's about perfecting the vessel and bringing out the beauty that you already have. She doesn't want you to change yourself in a way that would cause you pain.
For me, the body image definitely is a rising factor, because, you know, I've always been that way, so it's just enhanced, but not in a bad way, because Aphrodite contacted me maybe like a year ago, and her favorite thing to tell me was, all right, so you said something negative about yourself. Let me show you something that's super funny. Okay, yeah. Get naked, right? Turn around, look at yourself, smack that cake ass. Did you laugh? Did it jiggle? That's right. And that's my favorite thing to do every time. Like, I'm getting dressed. That could be better. Wait, smack that cake ass. It's the greatest thing. Yeah, I think that's all I have to offer.
That's awesome, Eleusis. Yes, I like the smack in the butt too. That's pretty good. She taught me that jiggling flesh is pretty sexy. So, yeah. So, the next question is, what's your favorite story or myth of Aphrodite, and what does it share with you about her mysteries? Okay, so I think that there's somebody else that wants to go first. Minty. We'll turn it over to the mythology priestess.
Hi there, my name's Minty. I'm a mythology witch with a lot of opinions. There are many myths about Aphrodite. First of all, we need to remember that Aphrodite is actually derived from Astarte, who is Sumerian. So use that information how you will. One of my favorite myths about her is actually the myth about Adonis and the custody battle of the ages between her and Persephone over this boy, and her being like, he's mine, I love him so much. And Persephone is just like, just wait, he's eventually going to come back to me, bitch. And explaining that eternal rivalry because they butt heads like you would not believe. And what that tells me, it just kind of confirmed something that I already knew about the myths and the mysteries, is that Aphrodite is crazy like a fox. She's incredibly smart and she plays the long game. She had Persephone married off to get rid of a rival. Let's just get that cleared up. But the fact that she loved Adonis so completely and so selflessly to the point where she literally could not just let him go, that was really, really touching to me. Also, her creation myth, which is something that really spoke to me when I was holding her, where she is born from Uranus's phallus as it was thrown into the sea. Aphrodite is more than a goddess. She is a titan. She is one step down from being a primordial. Love is an all-powerful force, and it starts wars. It ends wars. It saves people. It destroys. It is something that is so amazing, and it's just like fire. You have to be careful with it, otherwise things can go awry, but you can also build cities. And I think that was something that really, really struck me when I held her, and just how powerful she really is.
Thank you, Minty. I love the vision of mighty Aphrodite because people want to think that, oh, Aphrodite is weak and she's just a love goddess. Well, people kill over love. Crimes of passion is a thing. You know, people go to war for the Troy laid siege, you know, the whole thing, the Trojan War, the loose lips sink ships kind of thing. You know, you will find, no matter what happens, no matter who's holding Aphrodite, when you go to Spring Mysteries, the line to go see Aphrodite is out the door, around the building. You have to wait. because everybody wants what Aphrodite has to offer. You know, so I love it. Does anybody else have a favorite myth? Are you good? Okay.
So my favorite myth is the myth of her and Ares going at it and Hephaestus playing a prank on them and trapping them in chains. And here's why I love that, because everyone interprets that myth as Hephaestus being like, haha, I caught you, and Aphrodite and Ares being like, oh no, you got me. And it's actually like, oh no, you caught us. What are you gonna do about it too? You want to, like, oh no. Well, so we're here and we have this whole trap of chains that you could maybe join us in. That and that kind of leads into another question I saw that we'll get at later about the relationship between Hephaestus and Ares and Aphrodite. But I like that myth because it reiterates to me that Aphrodite doesn't see, or the gods don't view monogamy and the way humans do. And Aphrodite loves everybody because she sees the beauty in everybody. She loves Hephaestus because he gives her shiny shit. And she loves Ares because she sees herself as a war goddess in him and he's super hot. And like, she loves Poseidon because she came from his sea foam. She loves Zeus because he's Sky Daddy. Like it, and it's really just who she is. It's her nature to love everybody and to see beauty and sexuality in everybody. Yeah.
I agree. And there's also two Aphrodites. There is the Aphrodite at Taurus, which is all about possessions and the self and grooming in Aries. And then there's Aphrodite at Libra, which is more about relationships and Hephaestus and the power of the partnership, which leads us to our next question. Oh, and my favorite thing about Aphrodite is the one where Ovid wrote, it says, we say it in the mysteries, Cupid, come, how does it go?
Arrows, come.
Arrows, come quick.
My heart
Take your
is-
flashing arrows, which never fail, and fire them straightly into the heart of that dark god from whom the last part of our triple empire came. And it goes on and on. So that's my favorite one. And that's why it's always in the mysteries, because I get privileged being an archpriestess. I can use it in important places. And to me, that's the important place, right? So
Eliminating a rival.
Yeah. I'm curious to know how personal relationships with love in your life has changed since holding her. One of the things that really stunned me about holding Aphrodite is that you see yourself as the lover, everybody's lover. You see that person through the eyes of Aphrodite, and Aphrodite has been in the body of their lover. So she has intimate knowledge about everybody that you meet. And you see everybody, as Brenna said, this perfect, gorgeous, beautiful, sexy, attractive being. And it's interesting, you know, but it also helps me personally with my relationship. I was already madly in love, but one of the things that it enhanced in my relationship was recognizing the appreciation that I had for that feeling that my partner is perfect. And I know that Dusty has flaws, but they don't befront me none. You know, I love him. I think he's perfect, and I wouldn't have him any other way. So that's all I can say about that. Who else wants to go?
What I love about Aphrodite influencing my view on romance in general is that as a demi-bisexual, I usually I focus more on events that we can share. Like, I love cuddling. I love sharing my favorite show, a book, a movie, stuff. And then after a while of sharing my favorite stuff, like a cat, I then come to realize just how sacred it is to be in a relationship where you are safe, you feel safe, and you really respect the other person and know that you can free yourself as much as you are with that other person. And yeah, that's usually what goes on in my mind of, okay, got a shield, I got a shield. Let's break out of that. Let's warm up. It's wonderful to feel that.
Anybody else?
I'll go.
Shit.
Oh, sorry. Go
You
ahead.
go ahead,
Lisa.
Anna.
Oh, okay. Aphrodite was the crucible of me becoming is not the word, realizing that I am polyamorous, and as a demisexual / bisexual, hypersexual, polyamorous person, I just get in toxic relationship after toxic relationship after toxic relationship. And Aphrodite showed me how to stop that cycle, and also really made it feel okay to me to explore polyamory simply because she sees the beauty in and sexiness in everybody, and that there's no shame in feeling romantic and sexual thoughts over more than one person. And I'm sure that will get some controversy in the comments, and that's okay. That was simply my experience, and it also taught me that it's important to look for I'm not phrasing this well, I'm sorry. That, like I was saying before about if a person is toxic, you need to get rid of them because it's not honoring her.
I had a very similar experience with Aphrodite, being a polyamorous individual and being very pansexual and being a hoe. I know what I am. She definitely was someone who's like, okay, it's okay that you're a slut. We're just going to make sure that you find adequate partners. And she basically helped take the Band-Aid off a lot of really toxic people in my life. And it's like, so we're just going to have this person get out of your life, and we're going to get rid of this person. You can be entertained by this person while you're waiting around. And my husband was holding Hephaestus that year, and our antics were quite fun, to put it in a PG way. So
That's awesome.
it was a complicated year, but a lot of interesting things happened.
Awesome. Awesome. So the next question is, what is the hardest thing about caring for the Aphrodite shrine? I think that it's not breaking the jewelry. What do y'all think?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff, and Aphrodite is not delicate. She's not delicate. You would think she was gonna be delicate, but she breaks all her stuff, yo. And there's so much stuff. So
It's why we're with
the amount of
you gotta fix it all.
Yeah.
that is so dead true. It is, and she is not handy. I can make anything except for when I was Aphrodite and I called my Hephaestus and I was like, I am buying things for you to make for me. He was like, okay.
Yeah. The other phrase aside from cry time now that gets coined by the Aphrodite temple is Hephaestus, make better.
Yeah, and she's not neat. Like, she's got, somebody else is supposed to clean up after her. You know, she doesn't put things back where they go. She throws everything on and then she leaves the room destroyed behind her. So that's part of it. And then the Aphrodite shrine, well, the Aphrodite shrine has its own particular things going on. And so keeping people cleaning up after their selves and not leaving evidence of worship sometimes is a fun thing. Ladies, y'all have anything to add?
I would like.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I would like to second that Aphrodite breaks everything, and she makes a mess of literally everything. She cannot function with herself. When you're holding Aphrodite, you have to have someone there that is going to help you. The online part of this is actually going in a little bit to the next question I saw Amber ask, but the online aspect for Aphrodite is so hard because no one's there to do her makeup and no one's there to do her hair. Like all the other years, someone else does it all because I am a very capable human being. I can do my makeup, I can do my hair, I can move stuff, I can pick stuff up and carry it. But when you're Aphrodite, you can't do anything. I even tried, and people literally just took stuff out of my hands as I was trying to like help people and carry things. They're like, no. They don't let Aphrodite do for herself either because they love to take care of her. So the hardest part for caring for the Aphrodite shrine, definitely the things that break because they need fixed. And then, yeah, I think that's the hardest part. Physically wise, anyway, yes.
Agreed. And Brenna, might I say, your eyeliner is on point.
Before I held Aphrodite, I couldn't do makeup to save my life. Thank God for Aphrodite.
Yeah, that's part of the instruction. Anna, did you have something to add? Or did she get it?
She mostly got it. I was gonna add that I accidentally had sex on her sheets and then washed them and no one knew, and I'm confessing this now.
Go ahead, Ellie.
I'm not someone who pouts a lot, but this year I have pouted many times. If anybody sees a little lip sticking out, it's because I'm frustrated that I have to exist. I have to clean. Oh, where's the mop? I have to set up my background. Oh, there's so many backgrounds. Just do it. Can I be Mary Poppins today? Just like with it. Many pouts.
Yeah, I think that's one of the funniest parts. Brenna used to always be like, do I have to? And she would show us her cleavage. It's like, no, dear, you don't have to do anything. Thank you. And one of my favorite stories. Now, when is the best time to worship Aphrodite? Is all the time. There is no wrong time to worship Aphrodite. She rules in all three realms, and she wants people to worship her all the time. And of course, lovemaking is also another way to worship her if you're thinking about her during lovemaking, which sometimes we're not. You know, lovemaking is more of the time when Aphrodite's thinking about us. Just so, but one of the things that I wanted to do is ask everybody what their favorite story was about being invoked with Aphrodite, because my favorite story was that, like what Brenna said was, you know, like I'm Athena this year. When Athena has something to say, she says it and then she's gone. And then I'm me the rest of the time. When I was to meet her the whole time. As Aphrodite, I went in and we did the major invoking at the beginning of rehearsals, right? And there was this great big Aphrodite statue, and she looked down at me, and then I could see, I was like looking up at the statue, and then the next thing I knew, I could see the back of the statue's arm, and I could see my body, and I watched my body walk out. And I was like, well, that's weird. And then every time I went into that room, I could see the room from the back of, like, there was the back of Aphrodite's arm, and there was little bitty me way down at the bottom. And I was like, that's so weird. Why is this my view? And then when it was all over with, I was devoked, and then I was standing back at the foot of her statue, looking up at this huge, huge statue. I was little bitty. She was huge, like King Kong size big. And behind her were all these dolls, all these figurines that were her vessels. And there was me. And I realized that she had literally put my soul on the shelf and walked around in my body for 4 months, which made complete sense to me because I was not me. Like, I had all my memories and I could function at work and I could do all of the things, but I couldn't walk by flowers without buying them. And there were just some very different mannerisms about me. And then when it was over, that was gone. And those are very fond memories. That's not a bad thing at all. I thought it was super neat. So what are your guys' favorite experiences?
So when I held Aphrodite, I worked at a daycare. And I learned while holding Aphrodite and working at a daycare, Aphrodite loves babies. She loves them so much, and the babies remember her because it's thanks to her that they've reincarnated in this baby form. And so this one time I'm holding this little baby who's having a fussy day. This baby is teething. It's just not having a good time. And I hear Aphrodite in the back of my head. Demeter's the great mother goddess, but you're here because of me. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Especially you, little baby. And that little baby just looked up at me. Big old toothy grin. Later on, I had to walk into the infant room, and all those babies looked at me. Well, Aphrodite's like, oh, babies! And the babies, I ain't going back in the womb.
Yeah, I have a story about Minty and the backstage story before we move on from this. But you go ahead, Elizabeth. I'm going to tell the backstage story because that's my favorite one about Minty. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
I'll be very short. All I like so far since it's been a short time is the isms. Whenever I get invoked, it's always, okay, a little tear because, wow, this is overwhelming energy. And then also the hand. It's always like acting like I have long nails. Yes. Always with these big gestures, because attention is on me right now. I love it.
I'm gonna tell you what, my favorite memory of when I was holding Aphrodite, I have two, and they're one of them is of one scene that we still keep in the mysteries. You'll see it. It's between Aphrodite and Hecate. It is my most favorite thing to do. I want to be Aphrodite again and do it again. And it's so fun. She gets to be sassy. She gets to be smart and cunning, and it's awesome. And then my other favorite thing is, I'm ridiculous, but it is when I put on Aphrodite's, well, I guess technically it's Bella's white goddess sari. I put on that sari and I looked down at myself and I looked up and everyone in the room went, and that's when I knew I had hit the Aphrodite, and I went, oh, yes. I don't ever act like that. It felt so good to get to.
That orange dress you had was pretty stunning too. Yeah. Anna, do you have a favorite?
I honestly, I mean, and I don't want to sound dramatic, but my year as Aphrodite was pretty painful. I don't want to start crying, but it was being online as Aphrodite was probably it wasn't fun, and it was very it crushed her, and it was really hard. Like every year since then, when I see the new vessel be beautiful, it's wonderful, and it just breaks me a little bit. The worst part, it wasn't doing my makeup by myself. It wasn't, getting dressed by myself. It was the being alone, because I mean, she chose her family. She's a Titan and decided that she wanted to vibe with the Olympians, and not being able to be with everybody, and it really sucked.
Well, and nobody brought you flowers, and yeah, it's all of the things, and those are really important. But the good news is that means that we'll get to have honor be Aphrodite again in the future in the flowers. Yes, that we will. Yes.
Yeah,
we
Anna
will.
held her in 2020, in the year of the poof. So, rightfully so.
Yeah.
She got some big downloads and some big emotions from that.
And I still stare at those pictures and drool. So, you know, it was, you were fantastic. But I will admit that my year as Aphrodite was really difficult, and I have yet to see, I guess, Ellie, I don't really know what else going on in your world as much. And Ellie, I don't know, are you an Aquarius? Ellie just kind of floats above all of this stuff anyway. But Aphrodite's is a dramatic experience, and I know that me and Brenna both had really difficult times, and I remember there were other Aphrodites who had really difficult times during that time with figuring out. But let me tell you about what Minty did backstage. Here's the story, okay? So when we're invoked, and we're like deep invoked, it's full on possession, right? Like we're not there, and we all have to go backstage and wait. And if you can imagine a bunch of gods sitting around waiting, trying to stay invoked, and you can't make a single sound, because any sound you make is going to be seen, heard out front, right? It's going to distract from what's going on stage. So we're all trying to be quiet, and we're talking hours. You know, it's like an hour and a half. I've been sitting back here all dressed up as the queen of the gods, and Minty is Aphrodite. And I just adore Aphrodite. She's so cute. She does all of these little things that's just so adorable. So I'm watching Aphrodite, she's doing it now. I'm watching Aphrodite, and she's got on these really sparkly shoes, and the sun's hitting them. So she's like playing with the sunlight on her shoes and moving her shoes back and forth. And I'm watching her shoes, and and then she's got a curl. And so she's playing with the curl and curling it up and watching it down and curling it up. She's playing with her bracelets and, you know, stuff like that. And she's just enjoying the fabulousness that she is, right? And she looks up, and she's watching the sunlight on her shoes. And she looks up and she sees me, and she goes, ha, 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 ha. And then she starts, that's when we talk about Minty Aphrodite torturing Bella backstage, because I'm like, stop it, you're gonna pull me out of trance. You're gonna pull me out of invocation, stop it. And she was like, no, this is fun now. But so that was quite fun. Minty playing with Aphrodite playing with all her accoutrements, and me being like, Bella's paying attention. I had to re-invoke. Okay, I'm Hera. I'm Hera. Ah. So that was a lot of fun. Do we have a final message from our connection with Aphrodite for the viewers tonight? So, ladies, do you have a final message?
I would like to just throw in that we have had a lot of good conversations tonight about how fun it is to be Aphrodite. It's also as fun as it is hard as well. It really pushes you and tests you, and it really tried me in my relationship at the time, and it was very difficult. So this work, while it is super fun, we also have to do the super hard work to have the super fun. So we're not sitting here having all the happy fun time and no hard work time. There's plenty of shadow work to go around, let me tell you. So that is her message from me, though, is life is as fun and it is as hard. So, enjoy the good times while you can. Enjoy the little things that make you happy, because you're going to have hard times that you're going to need to get through, and those happy memories are going to help you get through it. So don't feel like you can't take time to have fun for yourself and enjoy yourself because you need those good times to get through the hard times.
I have a message for you guys, and that is, don't name your pets after Aphrodite. I named my cat Venus. Not this cat. This cat's name is Dave. But when I was 16, the first cat I adopted, I named her Venus. I thought that was a great idea. It wasn't. So, I mean, she became a very ferocious predator, and there was a time that she killed a blue jay, and blue jays mate for life, and so its mate was just freaking out like, caw, my mate's dead, and she just sits down so delicately, so primly under the picnic table and starts just daintily eating this blue jay in front of the other blue jays. It was terrifying, and she's like, yes, I am the queen. So, you know, don't name your pets after gods, but especially don't name your pets after Aphrodite. That's why this one is Dave and not a god.
Good advice for sure. Okay, any other quick words?
Eat the compliment broccoli, because you are going to doubt yourself if you hold Aphrodite every single moment of every single day. I mean, yes, smack that K-cast because you got it, but you're gonna also doubt that you look good in pictures. So accept compliments when they are given to you by people that you trust, because they are true compliments. They're not blowing smoke up your booty. You actually look real nice. So trust it.
First of all, Anna, bold of you to assume that Dave is not a cat in god form, or a god in cat form. Second of all, if you do not see the beauty in yourself, she is going to tape your eyelids to your forehead and make you see it. So learn your lessons while the first level is easy, because otherwise she's going to put you in the underwater level, and the underwater level is always hard if you're familiar with video games.
Agreed. The uniqueness about you is what makes you gorgeous. The Dusty showed me a picture of this girl. She had a really big nose, but she was proud of it, and she was taking pictures of it, and she was like, I look amazing, and she did. And then there's this model who has vitiligo that just, all over her. She's gorgeous because she rocks it. If you're heavy, rock it. If you don't have boobs, it doesn't matter. We're all looking at that ass. It's whatever it is that is awesome and unique about you is what makes you beautiful. And when you get that, then you don't have that doubt anymore. And then you can be the embodiment of beauty and the goddess, because, the goddess didn't have time to make a nobody, right? You're absolutely perfect just like you are. And that's what we all struggle with. So enjoy who you are. If you're the only body you get, enjoy it. Thank you so much for providing this opportunity for us to share.
Goddess of love. To learn more about the Temple of Aphrodite and how you can participate directly, go to atcwicca.org/temple-of-Aphrodite, or you can search Temple of Aphrodite on Facebook. So we're going to take a short intermission. Take this time to register for Spring Mysteries at springmysteries.com. Refill your drink. Make sure to stay hydrated. Goddess of the sea, over here, goddess of the sea, and refresh at the well before meeting the House of Baubo at 7. We'll see them. Welcome back. I hope that you all found refreshment during the intermission. We want to thank once again our priestesses of Aphrodite for joining us and paving the way as we make our way on the road to Eleusis. Our next stop is the House of Baubo. Welcome, House of Baubo. Esme Dutcher, our votary of the House of Baubo, would you please introduce yourself and the other illustrious and other word that sounds like juicy but also illustrious at the same time, members of this panel?
Yes, I am Esme Dutcher. I am the votary of the House of Baubo, and I was the vessel in, I think, the 2017 Symph. And with me today is our current vessel, Lola Stardust, and our previous vessels, Isadora Laveau and Isabelle de Fleur.
Thank you so much, Esme. So some of our viewers may have noticed that this is called the House of Baubo, while the others have been called the Temple of Aphrodite or the Temple of Poseidon, so on and so forth. Could you speak a bit about why that is different?
Yes, so Baubo is not a deity in the same way that the other gods are. They are star deities, and she's an ancestral deity. What that means is that within the myths, she is a mortal, not a god. And there is a lot of mystery around her history. And if you look at different texts, you'll get different stories. Is she a goddess, or is she a human or a legend? And so for our purposes, she's an ancestral deity. And so we are the House of Baubo, not the Temple of Baubo.
That is wonderful. Yeah, the metamorphosis, as one of our priestesses has posted here, is that the metamorphosis of Baubo myths of woman's sexual energy by Winifred Milius Lubell says she is no more Greek than African, no more Attic than Paleolithic. The image of Baubo spans eras and cuts across cultures like a ubiquitous time-traveling pilgrim. So she, in our work here, is sacred hospitality, the sacred energy of being brought into the home. Whereas if you start delving down the paths of Baubo, they will take you to places that you will not have expected, because she has a varied and very interesting history. Yeah. We are getting underway. And so to start off, can you all give us a piece of wisdom that Baubo has left you with? And we'll start with Esme.
Okay, a piece of wisdom that Baubo has left me with. I don't know where to start on that one. I think it might be an appreciation for the body, and she's kind of similar to Aphrodite in that way, and that she thinks the body is beautiful no matter how it looks, stretch marks, wrinkles, she doesn't care. But she also thinks the body is funny. And all people are equal, and we all have senses of humor, we all have bodies, we all poop. And so you don't need to get caught up in the details, because we're all humans with bodies.
That's fabulous. Lola, do you have anything that any bits of wisdom that Baubo has left with you?
Well, I find it hilarious that everywhere I go within 5 seconds, the topic of poop is brought up. So I'm appreciating that. Yeah. Kind of along the same lines, she really teaches you to embrace even those kind of yucky things that we find about our body. You know, if you've got hair in places that it shouldn't be, or, you know, the sagging things and the bigger things and the droopier things. She's like, put a mirror down there and look at it. Like, she just wants you to love it and just embrace it. And it has been like, she is so therapeutic. She is so therapeutic for any body dysmorphia you may have. She celebrates that. And I have put a mirror to it and looked at it, just saying.
Isabel or Isadora, do you have anything?
I'll go. For me, the ancient of vagina power, right? And female power. The balance that you can be a powerful woman but not hate men. The vigilanteism has stuck with me. That was not something I would have stood up for other people. So part of the lessons was an awakening of what women are suffering around the world to something like hair prejudice. So that was a big thing when I held Baubo. For me, was signing petitions that people could go to work with, that women could go to work with their hair how they wanted. It's the oppression of the female power is shocking. And Baubo comedy, tragedy, right? You laugh at the tragic things to help you get through it, and it's healing, but it's there. So I was surprised as I was working with this entity of laughter at the social justice things that were brought to my attention and still need to be addressed.
Thank you. Yes, I completely agree with and had same experiences. Maybe not as strongly for them, but I did witness that for myself. Uh, the describing the strength that she left with us or with me. The best analogy I can give, which that's what's coming up for me, is that, why ask for a pair of balls? Or why say grow some instead of why not a vagina? Those things take a pounding and keep going, kind of thing. You know, that's the type of personality Balbo is. And it's refreshing to be able to just stop and go, okay, you're right. I don't have to be so upset. I don't have to do this. I know that I'm spiraling down. And the opposite of that is laughter, and it pops you right back up, and it helps you to get on your feet again instead of feeling like you're drowning. So it just like pops you out of the vortex and helps you to have the strength to go on and enjoy it while you're doing it. Because you got to go on, and she knows that, and your whole self, everything about you, not just your vulva or not just your body, but also who you are, which is why the laughter and why the body. She wants you to know that your whole self is sacred, and sometimes that is truly overpowering, and you've got to sit with it for a minute. She doesn't mess around. It looks like it. But she does mess around until she gets you to see that you are sacred and everything about you is sacred. And yeah, looking at it is good for you. It helps you to come out and go, okay, I don't have to hide. I don't have to hide. And I have strength in my being, no matter
Power.
what shape, no matter what size, no matter what flavor or scent or whatever. Your whole self is sacred, and you need to take
And
care
eat
of.
pineapple because it makes you smell good and taste good down there. And drink.
Yeah,
You said
and
smell,
learn how
and
to
it's like,
take
that's
care
what
of
the
yourself
pineapple
and
is.
keep yourself in that sacred space. Is teaching you that you can't just go take a shower and call it good. Make it a sacred space, make it a sacred time of you with your deity self, your sacredness. That's what
Thank you.
my big experience with her was.
Nice. Okay, so I would like to say, I'm going to ask in a couple questions for all of y'all to tell us jokes. So I'm giving you a heads up so you can think. So I want to hear your
I
favorite
passed
jokes.
mine already. I gave it to you.
Nope, that one doesn't count. So it was
Why don't
good.
witches wear underwear?
Why?
Better grip.
Ah.
I hope everybody comes and sees Lola's Gigliana this year. It is gonna be off the hook. We're gonna laugh so hard. Oh my goodness.
I hope everybody comes too.
So we have a question from Chris. What would your favorite story that would help describe Baubo to someone who doesn't know her be? Like, what's a story that would describe how you see her?
Are you
Would
talking?
that be historical or experienced?
Yes.
Okay. Can I? Yes. Experience wise, so I invoked Balbo for Llamas monologues, and I kind of had an idea of where I was gonna go with it, and but it was kind of like I had one note on my computer. It said laughter and vagina, and I just kind of was like, that's gonna be the where I go. um and I don't know if anyone saw my invocation, but there was throughout it I was pulling things out of my vagina and sharing them with people. And that idea came to me literally like 10 minutes before I was to go on, because okay, it's Balbo, House of Balbo. The truth be told, I was going pee, and as an older woman, sometimes we are not as moist down there. And when we use the toilet paper to, wipe, it gets stuck up there. And so my toilet paper was stuck in my vulva, and I started pulling toilet paper out, and Balbo's voice went, "This is it. You are going to pull things out of your vagina. This is it." Because I just started laughing, going, "You've got to be kidding me. Like, this is the most Balbo thing I've ever done." And so that kind of influenced the invocation, and that I love that story because I really wasn't planning on doing that. And she was like, look what you're doing right now. Yeah, let's do that. And so I grabbed like the nearest things, like a wine bottle, and I even had a Daryl Dixon doll from Walking Dead. I pulled him out. I don't know if anyone noticed it was Daryl Dixon, but I pulled him out of my vagina, and I can actually say that now. I pulled Daryl Dixon out of my vagina. Thank you. Next show at 10.
I just realized that I wore this heart for Aphrodite because we just did Aphrodite's temple, right? But this other necklace attached itself to this and was like, "No, take me with you." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever, I'll take you with." And I just realized that this is what it is. And yeah, so here we go. Baubo was like, "I'm coming with you." Yeah, and for all of those who don't know, it's this. Got this little heart for Afro. Yeah, so that was awesome. Does anyone else have a story that they would like to share with that'll help explain Baubo to people?
Well, I think that the story that illustrates her best is the one in the story of Demeter and Persephone. But if people want to hear that story, they can come to Spring Mysteries and hear it, or go read the original. That's cool too.
I think that that is the best way to go. Yes, Isabel?
So I see her very much as balancing. As we come to know deity better, and the awakening I feel is happening in the world, that I think the world is opening to more worshipers of Baubo, vagina, healing waters. The best time I had was when I got to do the Gigliana, and we get, it is a sacred ritual. It is, and you invite the quarters, and when I got to when I got to invite air, I think that was my absolute favorite part. And felt like I hope you see my picture. I'm trying to share it. I felt truly free in that moment, like truly, truly free, that you can be sexy, every body shape, every color, every nuance is sexy, and to love yourself and be confident. And I think I would highly encourage everyone to get to know Baubo and drink your water.
So there is a mythic relic within the house of Baubo that is a small book, and in it is every name for vagina that the priestesses were ever able to think of. And yeah, so
All names for Coochie are holy.
all names for Coochie are holy. And so, and I believe that there's actually some people that believe that Baubo may have had non-typical genitals, and that was part of her thing, correct?
Yes, that they may have been misshapen, or that she may have been intersex.
There we go.
Uh,
So we have some more questions here.
Can I just say I'm glad that you said misshapen, because sometimes I think my vulva is shaped like a sad dolphin. I'm just saying, it just, a very sad, sad dolphin.
Oh, poor pussy. You're
That's
welcome.
on my song playlist. Is it that song? Is that what you're talking about?
Hey, back to the sacred waters
there's a
real
song.
quick. Back to the sacred waters real quick. That is very, very big for Balbo, is that water is sacred to her. And during my time with Balbo, she was saying that there's a lot of excessive water used on down there for us, in that there's excessive water used to make toilet paper. And this was during a pandemic, during the time when said toilet paper was kind of scarce there for a bit. And so she said, hey, use the water, get a bidet. And I did. And you know what? I've used a lot less toilet paper. I'm helping to save the planet. The water is sacred in that it needs to be taken care of and not misused. So, or used less of at the very least. So,
speaking of
question.
cleaning, Dusty, I know when Belladonna drops her robes off at the dry cleaner, and the dry cleaner said to her this last time, come again, and then Bella said, oh no, it's only toothpaste this time.
I did, but it wasn't toothpaste.
Oh, Aphrodite.
I really appreciate you telling jokes. It makes me happy. We actually had somebody say that they want that book of all of the names of vagina. So maybe House of Baubo can work with Wicca Press and we can write all names for Coochie are holy and publish a book. And some of those proceeds can go to the fundraiser that the House of Baubo works for. Yeah, is that something we could do? Let's talk about that later on. And for those that really dug the idea and brought it up, we will have some information on that coming soon then. That'll be fun. That'll be a fun project. So someone asked, I want to know what life-changing knowledge that you got from Baubo. A lot of people want to know how Baubo affected you. Yes,
Days
Isadora?
are sacred. The days are sacred.
Right? The holy well.
For me, it's about, I turned 50 recently, and there was a lot of weird things connected to it. I was looking forward to turning 50, but then I got COVID and I had to cancel my birthday party. So I was all like pouty and like, meh. But accepting turning 50 and getting older and like, because from what I have read, Balbo is not a, spring chicken. She's an older, larger lady with maybe some gray and, and I feel that is important to celebrate women at this kind of age where, because it's sometimes hard to feel that way when you're looking at your younger friends and that skin looks so good and everything's tight and not sad dolphin. And I just feel like I totally am. She made me embrace being this age and having this body and this wisdom that comes with the stories that this body has gone through. Because she is that woman that I feel like sits at the party and goes, oh, those, come sit next to me if you want to hear some dirty shit, and that reminds me of my aunts, that are like, hey, come sit next to me. I've got some dirty jokes and some pearls of wisdom that your parents will never tell you, and none of these people ever will. But I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to make you laugh, and I'm going to make you look, not fear getting older, because it's fun and it's funny and it's hilarious, but it's also you can be very insecure and sad about it, but talk about it. Like I just talked about my dolphin vagina. Like who does that? Like, like that she makes me like share that with people, because there's women out there that are going to go, oh yeah, I get it. And, so she's freaking awesome.
I think that is so beautiful, Lola. Like we sometimes our grandmothers or our great grandmothers have passed. Who's going to tell you about how to take care of your vagina, how your body changes as you get older? Like these were not things we talked about. It was, oh, you're down below. Like we didn't even say it, right? You're private. So having that woman in your life who can tell you what you're going to face, that menopause can last for like 10 years, things that really we as women need to know and have someone give us that wisdom. So I full on have had, I'm turning 52 next month, and I'm with you. Like embracing my crone is a gift that Balbo gave me. She took away the fear of that and made me excited for, and of course I'm still riding motorcycles and doing my thing, because Balbo will encourage you to live life to the fullest.
I'm doing burlesque for heck's sake. Like I just started burlesque last year at 49. So that was total Balbo. That started after it was announced that I was going to be Balbo. She was like, because I've been wanting to do it ever since I can remember. And she was like, do it now, do it. And I'm like, but I'm older, because all the burlesque performers are way younger. And I'm like, and she's like, what? Come on, do it. And that's been huge in my life.
I
One of
totally
our
think
ladies,
Baubo is the burlesque queen.
one of our ladies says the dolphin in me honors the dolphin in you from the comments. So way to be inspiring, which I think is what we're hearing is very a common thread with Baubo, is that she is an inspiring figure. In fact, that's a question that I want to ask that hasn't been asked, but I want to ask you. How do you, she is an inspiring figure. In fact, I would even say that she inspires Demeter. So what is it about Baubo that is so inspirational that reaches out to people? What's that kernel, that seed thought?
Laughter is infectious. Smile at someone and see if they don't smile back.
Yeah, I agree. She pulls you in with the dirty jokes, and then she keeps you there with the groundedness and the body love.
I was told that a lot when I was holding Baubo. I was all about the laughter and everything, but I was surprised and really moved how people said when I spoke, when I was fully invoked as her, they cried and felt love at such a deep level. And now I get to experience that as Lola's invoked, and last year with Isadora, and it just, Baubo is love. Like that, it's not just laughter, but that motherly, grandmotherly, just love every part of you. You know how you can't do wrong with the grandmother who just adores you. You are perfect. So Balbo loves you.
Yeah, that's the one. It is that deep, deep rooted sacred love that you just can't escape. She's not just somebody who cracks jokes just to crack jokes, because we know a lot of those can just be downright holes. And she's not. She is full of love and compassion and understanding. She's, at least back in the time of the Eleusis, when it was a physical city, at least at that time, I would very much call her um, the nurse of mankind. Like she nurses and aids you. She pulls you in with the laughter, and then she heals you with that love and that compassion, and you just can't do anything but just accept it, because you just know that she doesn't allow for a rejection of love. It's just, you can't not allow it, because it's a force of nature you just can't mess with. And she knows how to wield it so well. She's a perfect priestess.
So would you say that courtesy, that she is a sacred expression of courtesy and hospitality, that she's almost one of those, if you've seen the movie White Men Can't Jump, she's not the one to ask you if you want water, but to know your thirst and to feel that and go, I know what it's like to be thirsty, and so I know you're thirsty, have water. No?
Yeah, even if you say no, 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 she knows you're thirsty.
Okay.
I found
Cool.
with Balbo, it is a lot of laughter, but in that laughter is so much emotion, because laughter is the best medicine. I mean, that is the motto. Laughter is the best medicine. And she makes you laugh to take you out of, I mean, we need to laugh. Like the world we're in right now, everything is so serious, and she has taught me she has opened up a gift in me that I've already had, is I love making people laugh. And it's not just about how dirty can I get or how funny am I. It's I want to share that laughter. I want to make you forget, even if it's for 5 seconds, that your bills are piling up and there's a war going on. Because I'll tell you what, it heals. I'm getting goosebumps right now. She is so compassionate with that laughter. There's so much more in those jokes and that humor, and it's really made me feel that the tears I have cried for her and because of her is not because I'm sad. It's because the love is so overwhelming. It's so overwhelming, and she's just soft, bubbly, jiggly woman that she just hugs you and you just want to be like motorboat. Just, oh God, she's amazing. Okay, I'm done.
No, that's awesome. So would you
Can
say that yes, Esme, please.
well, I was wondering if you could talk about the sacred water aspect in more depth, especially since I noticed that everybody on the call like reached for a beverage at the exact same moment. And so we've mentioned the sacred waters and like offering a drink, and this is what I think is a really
Water.
interesting aspect of her, right? She guards the well at Eleusis. She guards the metaphorical. She guards medical and metaphorical gateway of the vagina. And she offers a drink of kykeon to Demeter. And in some myths, she was a wet nurse. And I had a baby a little over a year ago, so I've been really contemplating this mystery of breast milk as sacred waters. And I just keep finding connections of like kykeon, breast milk, the well at Eleusis. She may have been a wet nurse to Iacchus, Dionysus. Wine, the water of life. I just keep finding more and more of these connections.
I'll drink to that. That's awesome. So I grew up with the story of Persephone. I went to a really good public school. I learned myth from the time they started teaching us to read until I graduated. And when I was taught the story, there was no Metnaira in the one that I learned. There was no Kelios. There was Baubo. She met Baubo, and Baubo took her home to Baubo's home and was like, I have a baby. Do you want to take care of my baby?
I just read that story, Dusty. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm reading that book.
No,
I think
please.
that there's an amazing book called The Metamorphosis of Baubo by Winifred Lubell. And if you get that book, if you want to know about Baubo, it is amazing. And that story is in there about her being originally her and her husband or something, like the old couple that welcomed in Demeter to take care of her and show her hospitality. And yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, because I thought that was the more popular story because it's the one I know, and I'm an Aries. So if I know it, it's the most popular one, obviously, that everybody knows, of course. But have found that actually, no, that is not the more popular story. It is not the one that most people know. It's nice to know what book that it may have come from. So we have some people that are saying that they love how unself-conscious that Baubo is with the love for herself. I had a nurse at school who was 50 something, and she was tall, like really tall. So she was kind of gangly, but pear shaped. She was very non-typical sort of shaped lady. She had a very deep voice. And one of the things I remember from her is her saying, when you come into my office, it's not your thingamabob that you hurt. It's your vagina. It's your penis. It's your testicles. I don't care what your parents call it. I care that I know what the thing is that got hurt. I don't know what a thingamabob is. And this conversation has brought her, I haven't thought about her in probably 20 years, but I'm realizing that she very well, because she always kind of cracked jokes as well, but she was a little serious. And yeah, very stern but loving. I appreciate y'all bringing her memory back to me. That is a real gift that I don't think you knew you were giving me, and I appreciate it. So if I wanted to honor Baubo on my altar in a public place, okay, where maybe I can't put the more body things, what would I do and what would I put on that altar?
One thing we haven't discussed tonight is one of Balbo's symbols is the acorn. The acorn. She has it. If you look at her statues and stuff, and you look really closely at the very top of what you think is her head, there are 2 acorns on the top of her head.
And frogs.
I don't know much more about that mystery other than acorns is a thing for her.
And
I do.
frogs.
I just and frogs. And frogs. I don't know.
Does anyone know why the frogs? Because I had to look it up because
Is it because it looks like a woman's butt?
It's the shape of, you know, when you see the Baubo statues and she's got her legs spread, it looks like a frog. It's a frog. Yeah. So yeah. Yes.
Like
frog.
this maybe.
That one.
Yes, frog.
Oh yeah, the frog legs. Yeah.
Yep, the frog legs.
What I've heard
Actually,
is that frogs have magical transformative powers. And another thing you could do is draw V's. In some ancient sculptures and like cave drawings, that's how they would represent the vulva, is they would draw V's, but modern society wouldn't know that that's what you're doing. And so I once went to an art gallery that had this beautiful painting of a goddess, and the little artist note said that I believe the more we put the goddess's image around, the more we bring her energy back into the world. And so I love the idea of just like drawing little V's everywhere, just everywhere you go, graffiti some V's.
You guys, a bunch of the previous Balbos sent me art, and I got to know some incredible vagina artists. And I just want to say from that same book we keep quoting, here's a quote: "The vulva isn't exhibitionism, it is transformation, not pornography, but rather tribute to her power." And I don't know if anyone remembers those artists, but if you scroll back, House of Baubo, if you scroll down far enough, you will see where I posted some of the artists that do this beautiful work to call it sacred, because it is.
And she also likes flowers, especially ones like calla lilies and others that look like the orchid is one. My apologies, Lola. Please continue. I did not know you were about to speak.
I was just going along that same line. The she celebrates the vulva as because that's where the power is, that's where the magic is, and I don't want to get too political, but the patriarch is very scared back then, and even now the patriarch is a little afraid of the women parts, and they would try to hide that and push it aside, and she was all about celebrating that because that is where life comes from. There's so much power in it. It's not just to be crude or like Isabel was saying, I mean, yes, there's a part that is because it's funny and it's fun, but the root of that is the power and the magic, where it comes from, and we need to celebrate that. Yeah.
I really love that if you are inclined to do the research also, every culture that I looked up has some kind of either a human or a deity that represents the same as Baubo. Look at the African culture and you will find all kinds of amazing stories, some connection to the vagina and the healing waters. It's everywhere. It is international.
Can I just touch on real fast the matriculated scholastic knowledge within the House of Baubo? We have two actual legitimate librarians inside of this temple, and to be a legitimate librarian is study. It's not just a job title, it's actually an honorific to be a librarian. So when this panel tells you that there is a literary aspect that really is something you should look into, please know you should take that to heart, because they know what they're talking about when it comes to books and reading in this particular temple. So I noticed that one of the symbols that you didn't mention is actually the one that's on the it says Temple of Baubo, but it's supposed to say House of Baubo symbol on your background. So what about an upside down broom would be about Baubo? Does anyone know? I was there when they were created. What is it, Lola?
I'm going to take a stab at this. I'm going to take a poke at this. I'm going to take a poke at this. But
Yeah.
I have read that there is a correlation between the broomstick and riding the broomstick and it being the phallic part of it. You would put your flying ointment. I may be way off, but there was whole stories about flying ointment and putting it in your vagina and riding the stick, and you would kind of get kind of excited about it. Everyone looks very shocked, but there are stories about this. Okay, so that's what I assumed it was.
It also looks like the space where the legs come together. The
And
upside
that
down broom.
And that too.
So, yeah. But also, she is hospitality. One of the things I was thinking about when you were talking about what is sacred to her, I always try to thank people in hospitality and service gigs for the work they're doing. Like if someone's sweeping up the floor at the movie theater, yeah, they're getting paid to do it, but if they weren't doing it, then I'd be walking on sticky stuff and popcorn, So would you agree that through honoring people that are in service positions, when you see them, you are doing something in your day-to-day that would honor Baubo? We had some people ask on what you could do in your day-to-day to honor Baubo in your life.
I once heard that if you were the kind of person who puts a shopping cart away, that is a sign that you are truly a good person, because there's no reward for that. Nobody's paying you. Nobody's watching you do it, right? It is something you do if you believe it is the right thing to do. So that makes me think of Baubo. But yes, definitely thanking and enjoying people. I think one of the lovely things about Baubo is how much she enjoys taste and savors eating food. Oh, Lola had a thought, and I was all about coffee when I was with Baubo. And let me tell you, as a Cuban woman, coffee is sacred. But Lola, what were you savoring?
Oh my God. So I was watching these past panels and you guys would talk about what have you been eating as Baubo. And at first I was like, I don't know, man. And I have gained all the weight back that I lost because I just want food I want just food, just, and I mean bad, like greasy, cheesy. It's like, it's orgasm in my mouth kind of just, oh God, like cheesecake and cheeseburgers and lots of cheese and meat and grease. And I can't stop eating it. And it's amazing. And at the same time, I feel like Baubo is like, I don't want you to lose too much weight. Like, keep that beautiful belly, keep those beautiful curves, because I tell you what, man, I was on Weight Watchers and I was very happy with what I was doing. And as soon as I started working with Baubo, I'm eating and everything. And also, eating pussy is good. Sorry.
Do you have a hard time this year, Lola? Because I did last year wearing a bra. It was so hard to put. You just don't. Yeah,
No bra.
it just seems
No
so
bra.
superfluous.
No bra. Screw the bra.
All right. So we have a couple last questions here as we come up to the top of our hour. So if you're someone who's just dipping your toe into working with Baubo, what would be a good way to get started? Let's start with Esme on this one.
I would say getting grounded. If you're a chakra person, getting in touch with your root chakra, we think belly laughs and dirty jokes, we think second chakra, which is great. But also like getting rooted, connecting to your ancestors and the earth, like go outside and feel the ground with your feet and feel the ground with your hands, and like get out of your head and get in your body. That was my first step when I was her vessel back in 2017, was just like, be in my body. And I think it's a good step for most people.
Yes, Isabel?
One of the most incredible things I did, and I don't know if you have this opportunity, but I hope you do. We have here in Washington State a female only spa, and going into the baths where everyone was naked, nobody cared. And I got to really experience that every body type is sacred. There's no Photoshop in there. You are looking at all these different women, all these different ages, and realizing that real humans have intestines and real humans jiggle, and it just, so if you don't have the opportunity to go to a spa like that, take a moment, and I know Aphrodite would agree, look at yourself in the mirror and love you. All of you is sacred. Love you.
I was looking in the mirror just yesterday at how much weight I've gained, and I know I hope this doesn't trigger anyone with body issues. This is my thing, but this is a beautiful story. I was looking in the mirror at the weight I've gained back, and I was looking at the side view, and for the first time ever, I was not upset about it. I actually rubbed my big belly, and I knew that was Baubo. I knew that was Baubo, because I would be mortified as Lola, just going, oh my God, but I couldn't stop looking at my big belly and my big boobs, and just, and I was naked in the mirror, and it was the most, and when I said therapeutic in the beginning, if you have any body trauma or anything, I really suggest working with her. I run a local women's red tent. I've been running it for years. That is a wonderful way too, where women get together and share experiences. And but I want to point out, Dusty being not the only male here, I just want to honor you, Dusty, for running this, because you are an honorary Baubo. Like, you're so, we feel safe with you. And that's really important, because Baubo is about that sisterhood and that womanhood, but she's also about the men who support that and who love that. And we couldn't have asked for a better host than Dusty, who just is so, I just wanted to say that, because I noticed, like, here's these beautiful women and this beautiful man, and I'm like, shit, man, Dusty, you're awesome.
I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Very, very much so. Isadora, do you have anything that you would like to add here at the end?
Well, if none of the above works for you and it's just not your thing, then something that is everybody's thing is take a nice long shower. Take a nice long soak in the tub. Something where you are surrounding yourself with the sacred water and rinsing away your day or rinsing away the ick that you've been feeling going on. Like just soak in it. Long shower, long bath, make it sacred and just wash away all the things that aren't working for you. And that way you're making room in your cup for more laughter.
Isabel, you had one thing to do before we.
Yeah, I know we're leaving soon, but Lola bringing you up made me think. All women are women. I just want to say that if you embrace the feminine energy, I just want to be clear that if that's you, you're a woman. All women are women. Baba loves you.
Oh, and it's
You're awesome.
okay. Dusty's just a lesbian in disguise.
I was trying
And
to
we
hide
love
it.
him for it.
I love y'all. Esme,
We
did
love
you
you,
have something?
Dusty.
Yeah, I have one more piece to share before we're over. Something really important that Baubo taught me. She taught me the difference between garbanzo beans and chickpeas. Do you guys know the difference between chickpeas and garbanzos? Well, I've never had a garbanzo on my face.
Yup, I appreciate that. And on that note, thank you so much. We want to thank the priestesses of Baubo for joining us tonight and bringing laughter, love, and levity with them, answering our questions, sharing their work with this ancestral deity. And if you want to learn more about the House of Baubo and how you can participate directly, you can go to atcwicca.org/house-Baubo or house-of-Baubo or House of Baubo on Facebook. We come to a close for tonight, but you can return next Thursday at 6 p.m. PST or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the next step on our journey down the road to Eleusis. The Temple of Hades and the Temple of Hecate will both be in attendance and answering your questions. We shall see you next week as we continue to Eleusis. Register to join us at the Mysteries at www.springmysteries.com. Blessed be.